They can control Jay-Z and Beyoncé.
But not you, man.
But they can't control me.
Not
You see, it
you.
ain't no name I won't name.
Exactly.
It's up.
Leave me, leave the king the alone. I don't care, bro. I'm gonna post my wife as much as I want. Go post your wife when you.
He has always been unpredictable, but this time his revelation might be the most explosive of his entire career. In a string of late-night rants and online posts, he unleashed a claim so staggering it could rattle the very core of hip-hop's royal dynasty. He did not just take shots at Jay-Z as a distant friend turned rival. He accused him of concealing hundreds of illegitimate children, a charge that strikes at the heart of the image Jay-Z has spent decades perfecting. For years, the world has watched him celebrated as the mogul who rose from the Marcy Projects to billionaire status, the family man who stood beside Beyoncé and their 3 children, symbolizing stability in an industry built on chaos. Now, in one furious eruption, Ye insists it was all nothing but smoke and mirrors.
And I'm not saying allegedly.
Oh.
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston.
The timing of West's claim is impossible to ignore. For months, he has been unraveling in public, lashing out at Kim Kardashian, the industry, and the celebrities he brands as controlled. But this accusation cuts far deeper because of his long and complicated bond with Jay-Z. This is the same man he once called his big brother, the figure who helped catapult him into superstardom. For him to now accuse Jay of living a double life with secret heirs scattered across the country takes their feud into uncharted territory. What makes it even more unsettling is that whispers about Jay-Z's alleged hidden children are not new. For years, stories have surfaced of women coming forward, lawsuits filed, DNA tests allegedly dodged. Ye did not create this fire. He is throwing gasoline on embers that never went out.
Took them to some apartment building and, you know, they did what they did in there, you know, talked a little bit, had a good time party. And I guess had, you know, I can't fully talk as my mom because I'm not my mom. I'm just telling you guys what she told me. It was this. And I honestly just believe it, you know, it's just no doubt in my mind that I believe in my.
What makes these accusations cut even deeper is his claim that this is not just about secret family drama. In his mind, Jay-Z and Beyoncé themselves are responsible for his public downfall. He believes they have been pulling strings behind the scenes for years, orchestrating efforts to discredit him, institutionalize him, and silence him. To Ye, the same power couple the world praises as pop culture royalty are the very masterminds who tried to destroy him. He points back to their absence at his 2014 wedding to Kim Kardashian, a wound he still vents about. He recalls how Jay chose Kendrick Lamar, not him, for the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show, a snub he took as public humiliation. And he insists that when he was locked in custody battles with Kim, instead of stepping in, they either stood aside or worse, pushed him further into chaos. They could have used their cultural position to not just watch the Kardashians run me over, he said, a raw line that shows just how personal this betrayal feels to him. For Ye, his enemies are not faceless executives hiding in boardrooms. They are people he once trusted and shared meals with. He has accused Beyoncé of using her legendary grip over her image to quietly manipulate the press against him, ensuring every rant painted him as unstable. And here is where it gets most unsettling. Ye believes Beyoncé played the key role in shielding her family by discrediting him. If Jay-Z really does have hidden heirs, then Ye's outbursts would be a direct threat to the Carter empire. What better way to silence him than to convince the world he has lost his mind? Beyoncé's reputation as a perfectionist, a woman known to control every detail of her public image, fits all too neatly into his conspiracy. Could she really have been orchestrating the narrative in the shadows while smiling flawlessly on red carpets and stadium stages around the globe?
Just he's Kanye West, you know, so it's like relentless. I was like, yeah, popcorn.
The theory might sound outrageous, but West has been consistent in saying he felt like an outsider among the very people he once called peers. In one tweet, he admitted, "I always felt like the black sheep, like I wanted family in this music." That confession reveals more than any insult ever could because it shows the wound beneath the chaos. He wanted loyalty and belonging, but instead, he says what he got was betrayal. And if we take his accusations seriously, that betrayal was not just about cold shoulders or career snubs. It was, in his view, a calculated campaign to still look no further than Letitia Mayer, the woman from Maryland who once claimed to be Jay-Z's daughter. Posting boldly on Instagram under the handle Jay's first daughter, she said her family told her all her life that the rap mogul was her father, and her own sister even backed up the story online. Then there is Ramir Satterthwaite, who has spent more than a decade trying to drag Jay-Z into court for a paternity test. His case has been dismissed, refiled, appealed, and shuffled across different jurisdictions, with Jay-Z's lawyers dismissing it as pure harassment. Yet the persistence of these claims, combined with the striking resemblance some insist they see, has kept the rumors alive. Now he has reignited the conversation on the biggest stage possible, practically daring the world to connect the dots. It's him because he knows too much about Jay-Z's private life. The surrounding context only fuels the speculation. For years, whispers and lawsuits about Jay-Z's alleged secret children have surfaced, only to vanish again under legal technicalities or quiet settlements. One case even involved sworn affidavits claiming the woman was underage when she conceived, a detail explosive enough to make anyone desperate to bury it. If West knows about these cases and given his past closeness to Jay-Z, it is hard to believe he does not. Then his claim of hundreds of illegitimate children might be exaggeration, but it is not entirely baseless. It feels more like a bitter man taking the rumors everyone else ignored and turning them into a spotlight.
You know, the thing about the kids at some point here, and not for the younger ones, it's at some point. For North, it's right now, right? That even if she doesn't see it, even if somehow Kim is able to keep that away from her, the kids that her friends at school, they're gonna know about it. They're gonna see it. And it puts the kids in a horrible situation.
What makes this even more compelling is the way West connects his own personal breakdown to the narrative. He claims he has not been targeted because of erratic behavior, but because he dared to speak out against the most untouchable couple in music. The moment he lashed out at their children online, the backlash was immediate and brutal. Even Kim Kardashian said she was appalled, but in West's mind, that was all part of the setup. Challenge the so-called Golden family and you are instantly cast as the villain. Post something harsh about the twins, delete it, then watch the headlines brand you unfit to be a father. He insists he deleted the tweet not out of regret, but to keep his account from being suspended. In his view, he has been cornered by a machine built to protect Jay-Z and Beyoncé at any cost.
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past.
And we cannot ignore the backdrop. Jay-Z now finds himself tangled in lawsuits, not only tied to paternity claims, but also linked to serious allegations involving his longtime ally, Sean Diddy Combs. Federal raids, civil suits, whispered scandals. Jay-Z has managed to keep his image mostly untouched. Yet the storm building around him is impossible to deny. West seizes on this moment, urging the world to look closer. If Diddy is collapsing, how long before the spotlight turns to his closest partners? And if whispers of hidden heirs are true, how many more will step forward once the Carter shield begins to fracture?
Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyoncé.
The tension rises when we imagine Beyoncé's role in all of this. Could she, the perfectionist who scripts her interviews and polishes every public appearance, be the one orchestrating the steady drip of headlines about West's instability? Could every meltdown, every antisocial rant, every bizarre public spectacle be part of a carefully managed strategy meant to protect her husband's legacy while destroying his most dangerous critic? It is a chilling possibility, and West, for all his faults, dares to voice it aloud. But the question lingers: is he spiraling into paranoia, inventing enemies where there are none? Or is he reckless enough to point at the Carters and declare the emperor has no clothes? He has cast himself as the victim before, but this time the stakes feel far higher. This is no longer about music, friendship, or missed weddings. This is about hidden families, secret heirs, and power games that could shatter billion-dollar empires. In West telling, Beyoncé is not an innocent bystander. She is the strategist, the queen guarding her king, even if it means turning one of their oldest allies into a global punchline. And the denials only fuel suspicion, because Jay-Z and his team continue to avoid taking a DNA test. So when West claims Jay-Z has hundreds of hidden children, we are forced to ask, is this just another unhinged rant from a man who cannot stop self-destructing? Or is it the first glimpse of a truth the industry has buried for decades? The more we sift through the fragments, the lawsuits, the women stepping forward, the cases dismissed, the silence is maintained, the harder it becomes to look away. And if Beyoncé truly has been pulling the levers of the media, then West's fall from grace was not an accident at all. It was a carefully staged demolition designed to keep the Carter throne untouchable. Yet the mystery only deepens every time West backtracks, tweeting that he loves Jay-Z or that he feels regret. It reads less like an apology and more like a man realizing how much danger he might be in. One moment he drops explosive accusations, the next he scrambles to soften the blow. That uneasy dance between bold attack and nervous retreat suggests he knows exactly how powerful his targets really are, and if his suspicions hold any truth, then the Carter empire rests not only on chart-topping albums and billion-dollar ventures, but also on secrets so dark they can never be allowed into the light.
This part is not alleged. Jay-Z and his team, they have been ducking and dodging taking the DNA test.
From the start, Kanye and Jay-Z were more than collaborators. They moved like brothers. Reshaping the culture of hip-hop shoulder to shoulder, Jay-Z opened the door, giving Kanye his chance, and Kanye repaid the faith by producing some of the most iconic tracks of the early 2000s. For a time, their partnership looked unbreakable. Their chemistry felt untouchable. Their bond stamped into history through records and electrifying performances. Yet beneath that perfect picture, fractures were forming. By 2016, the cracks had widened into something impossible to hide. Kanye stood on stage venting that Jay-Z never came to see his family. After Kim Kardashian's harrowing Paris robbery, Jay-Z hit back on for 44, firing sharp lyrics that painted Kanye as the wayward younger brother who had lost his path. What began as creative disagreements shifted into something much darker. A betrayal Kanye claims was not accidental, but a calculated move designed to dismantle him piece by piece.
Jay was more quiet. But I mean, I learned that Jay was being quiet because he was taking notes. He was taking notes, observing everything, taking it all in. Because, sometimes you're around and you're watching to see things to do.
This is where Kanye's cryptic stance turns unsettling. He has long accused unseen powers in Hollywood of pulling strings behind the scenes. But the names he chose to call out are what make it chilling. They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyoncé. He declared in one of his infamous rants, in his mind, he was the last man standing, the only voice they could not muzzle. To Kanye, the Carters were not just distant friends who abandoned him. They were the very ones orchestrating the narrative, ensuring that the world saw him as unstable, even dangerous. Vanished tweets, midnight posts, and frantic backtracking only fed the image of a man sending warnings before retreating under threat. The picture he paints is one of manipulation at the highest levels, where loyalty is expendable, and protecting the empire comes before everything else.
Control Shaq. They could control Charles Barkley. They could control LeBron James.
And then comes the most volatile layer of all, the rumors about Jay-Z's alleged secret family. For years, whispers have circulated that a hidden network of individuals exists, each claiming to be his biological child. Court filings, Instagram revelations, even sworn affidavits have surfaced, only to quietly disappear in sealed records or be tossed out in dismissals. Letitia Master says she grew up being told Jay-Z was her father, pointing directly to her mother's past connection with him. Damir Satwat has spent over a decade dragging his case through courtrooms, demanding a paternity test from Pennsylvania to New Jersey, even federal court. He has filed motion after motion, yet every time, Jay-Z's lawyers countered with technicalities, jurisdiction disputes, property records, questions of age of majority. Each time, the DNA test was pushed aside, and the question still lingers: why?
Well, basically, my mom was at a show, and she was with a friend, and y'all know, I guess her and her friend stayed to, after the show, he was doing little signings and little autographs and stuff like that. I guess he wasn't too big, but I guess females, when the show is over, you can sign little autographs and stuff like that, talk to the people who perform. She said she went up there.
A former friend once claimed that one of Jay-Z's alleged daughters lives in a home quietly funded by him. with the bills paid but restrictions placed on what she can reveal. Others suggest that silent settlements have been made to keep stories from ever reaching the press. None of these claims have been proven, yet their persistence is striking. The same names resurface again and again, refusing to fade away. If even one of these allegations proved true, it would shatter Jay-Z's image as the flawless family man beside Beyoncé. His refusal to ever submit to a DNA test only feeds the speculation. Could West's explosive accusations finally force this issue into the spotlight in a way Jay-Z can no longer control? The danger for the Carters is obvious if more individuals step forward, especially now when Diddy's downfall has the media circling and lawsuits keep dragging Jay-Z's name into old scandals. The pressure could become unbearable. Picture multiple lawsuits, high-profile interviews, and investigations all erupting at once. It would be a tabloid-feeding frenzy, tearing apart the Carter brand built on control, perfection, and untouchable presentation, and he seems determined to make that nightmare real, whether through his music, cryptic posts, or off-the-cuff interviews. He keeps hammering one theme: the Carters have secrets, and those secrets could destroy them.
And Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them.
The scariest piece of this puzzle is Beyoncé's alleged role as the strategist. She has always been one of the most image-conscious performers in history, rarely grunting interviews, staging every appearance with precision, and guarding her brand like a fortress. But according to Ye, that control is not just about choreography or stage lighting. It is about narratives, power, and silencing threats. If his claims hold any weight, then every headline painting him as unstable or unfit was not just a reaction to his behavior, but the result of a calculated campaign designed to discredit him before he could expose Jay-Z's past. That would mean Beyoncé's flawless image is not only built on discipline, but on ruthless strategy. The timing makes it even more unsettling. Jay-Z has just been named in lawsuits tied to explosive allegations involving his longtime ally. Diddy claims he strongly denies, but that still casts a shadow. At the same moment, Ye emerges with accusations about illegitimate children and Hollywood manipulation. For a public already exhausted by powerful men crumbling under scandal after scandal, the stage is set for this to catch fire. If even a fraction of West's claims were to gain mainstream traction, the Carters could find themselves in the fight of their lives.
Why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't.
What stands out most is how Ye seems to know he is playing with fire. He drops bombshells only to erase them. He hurls insults, then follows with apologies. One moment he calls Jay-Z a brother, the next he cries betrayal. It is a push and pull that feels less like indecision and more like the struggle of a man caught between fear and rage. Someone who believes he holds truths powerful enough to shake the industry, but also understands the cost of revealing them. His every move carries the weight of a man who thinks he is being silenced, and that belief alone keeps fans and critics glued to his every post. So here we are, watching one of entertainment's most untouchable couples confront the ugliest rumors of their careers. Not whispers from outsiders, but accusations from a former insider who once stood shoulder to shoulder with them. The questions hang heavy. How many heirs could be living quiet, hidden lives in the shadows? How far would Beyoncé go to protect the image of her family? And what happens if Ye refuses to stop talking? Suddenly the empire that once seemed unshakable looks far more fragile than anyone imagined. In the end, it all comes down to one chilling possibility. If Ye is telling the truth, then what we have seen so far is only the tip of a much larger iceberg. The Carters have built their legacy on unity, glamour, and control. But what if beneath that polished surface lies a web of secret families, broken promises, and ruthless power plays that rival the darkest Hollywood scripts? We may be about to find out. So we leave you with this. Are Ye's claims the unraveling words of a desperate man, or the first cracks in a dynasty built on secrets? Share your theories in the comments, because one thing is certain: this story is not over. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and never look away when the mask begins to slip.